All right, so this is part two. Now, the question is, why is Joe Biden alluding to reparations to Native Americans, man? All right, because you have to remember, like I said, Ezekiel 28 and 3. Let me see. It says right here, it says, "Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There's no secret that they can hide from thee. With thy wisdom and with thy understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches and had gotten gold and silver into thy treasures." All right. So the basis, it's how Esau, he got gold and treasure conquering different nations, but it said he wise in Daniel. Cause what did Esau do? Esau, he record things, man. And he had things, in history, man. Okay. He had things in history, man. Cause what Jake for a long time, for a while, thought that all Israelite slaves came from West Africa. Some was already over here, and they are from the Northern Kingdom, man. From Gad all the way down to Issachar. So while they dropping off the so-called Negroes over here in Americas, they dropping off the Northern Kingdom on the other side, and then they was enslaved in the Northern Kingdom with the Southern Kingdom here in Americas, man, and elsewhere. All right. Let me say why. That's mean Esau just have knowledge, more knowledge than the average Jake out there that don't know they the Israelites. All right. And he has the records of what he did to each tribe, man. All right. So again, you ask, why he loomed the soul? Because some of you individuals who think you're so-called Negroes, you're actually so-called American Indians, so-called Seminole, and you actually Gad and Reuben. And majority of Gad and Reuben, you got the other tribes, man. Okay. Because see, the truth is going to spring up out of the earth, man. It says, well, Psalms 85 and your land, the truth going to come out, man, that the so-called Negroes, Latino, Native American, speckled birds are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. And also what happened throughout the history of the nation Israel. In these days, it says Psalms 85, it said, truth shall spring out of earth and righteousness shall look down from heaven. All right, so the truth is that what? That the Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, and this book, African and Native American by Jack D. Forbes, start page 49. It says what? It said the Dutch expansion into the early 17th century also served to celebrate American African autonomy, the contact between the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom. All right, because they're not American and they not Northern Kingdom is not American and the Southern Kingdom is not Africans, man. All right, they'll name out of two Edomite conquerors. All right, contacts elsewhere from the 1590s onward, Dutch warships frequently captured Spanish and Portuguese vessels, many of which were loaded with slaves and possessed crew members of non-white race. Some of these slaves were taken to Europe, while others were sold to the English in Virginia or were sent to Dutch ports in the Americas, New Amsterdam and Coracle. That's in the Caribbean. That's in the Caribbean area. All right. For example, we know that some of the captive persons with Spanish Christian names, all right, could they get indoctrinated with sweet Jesus, sweet Jeebus, Caesar Borgia, all right, and were not new slaves from Africa. In fact, some of those who arrived in Virginia were Carib people. So you had a tribe of Ephraim arriving in Virginia. Some of you people who think you Judah, you're actually also Ephraim, man. You're Ephraimites. All right. It says, let me get right here to the curses. All right. See, a lot of you come against the 12 tribes, you come against yourself, man. Then you're hating on your Northern Kingdom brothers, Issachar, the so-called Mexicans, and etc. When you're part of them, man. You're from the Northern Kingdom. All right. All right. You hate them because they look a certain way, man. Israel's a speckled bird, man. Jeremiah chapter 12, verse 9, man. Each tribe is like from charcoal dark to the lightest light, man. All right. It says what? Deuteronomy 28 and you know, I'm gonna start with 64. It said Deuteronomy 28 and 64. It said Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor fathers had known, even wood and stone. All right, because they was, it says right here they dealing with Christian names, and they getting indoctrinated with Caesar Borgia, plantation Christianity. All right, it said, among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy feet have rest, which is slavery. But Yahweh shall give thee a trembling heart and failing eyes and sorrowful minds. All right, and you always afraid for your life, man. All right. And thy life shall hang in doubt before then, thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have no assurance of thy life. All right, so we this captivity, man, it was basically be in danger, man. Even and have a sorrow, man. All right, cause these Edomites, man, they was and the Ishmaelites, resting nations, man, they was doing us bad, chopping off our feet, man, raping our women, skinning us alive, eating us. Yeah, they was actually eating us, man. Making leather purses out of them, man. Leather boots, all types of crazy stuff, man. Chairs and stuff, man. Decapitating our ancestors' heads, all smashing our babies against the stones, man. In Brazil, they was playing a game with Judah and Asher. They would slice the pregnant woman's stomach out, man. They play games like that, man. These people was cruel, man. All right. I'm gonna go down here. It says what? It said, and Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again, which is double for talking about captivity. All right. Deuteronomy chapter 5 verse, and it's talking about here in America. Because it says what? It says right here, it says what? It says these slaves, all right, these slaves were taken to Europe while others were sold to the English in Virginia. All right. Okay. So you got the seed of Joseph among the so-called Negroes, Judah, man. All right. It says and Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. All right. Because the first captivity of Egypt, we was actually in Egypt, man, over there in the land of Cam. It was the correct name for people ignorantly call Ham. All right, ignorantly call Africa. All right, so this time around, we're gonna what? Go into these ships, man. We're gonna go into captivity. We're gonna a lot of us gonna come over to over here in Americas, man. Particularly you know, this is in North America, which is Egypt again. You go to Washington, you see all the monuments go back to Egyptian culture. America is partly based on Egyptian culture. You got southern north, it's called what? Little Egypt. You got the pyramid, Memphis, Tennessee. All right, and et cetera, man. All right. By the way, I spake on it, thou shalt see it no more again as a whole nation. We never see the whole land of Israel again. There shall be sold unto your enemy for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy. All right, we end up in the hands of Most High gave us up to the hands of oppressors, and we end up on no auction blocks, being sold for slave, and no man should buy. I mean, nobody should save us. I mean, we have to serve this sentence, man. Cause you got lost call for talking about if your house was real, how come he can't save you? You have to serve. You have to serve slavery, man. You have to serve our sentence, man. All right, and there's murmuring, man. Cause Yahweh is the representative of Yahweh, man. It's the Heavenly Father, man. All right. So you're scoffing against the Heavenly Father, man. Yahweh, to you Tanakh only Israelites. All right. Scoffers from the Tanakh only Israelite group, man. All right. You scoffing against Yahweh, man. You saying Yahweh, well, we don't deserve to be, we don't deserve this punishment. Why are we here? That's what basically you saying, man. And you deserve it, man, because you went off, man. But guess what? Esau in trouble because what uh, um basically afflicted us more, man. And that's in Zechariah chapter 1:15. That's what Esau's in trouble for, man. All right. Okay, so get this right here. I'm trying to find something else to bring out. Okay. So it's at page 54. It says in get this focus. It says 1747. A Spanish slave was sent from Canada to Martinique. All right. While in 1732, a Carib slave was taken to Canada. All right, it's in a fresh when ends plantation economy began to develop, and there, as noted, one found Brazilian, Asher, Arawak slaves or Ephraim, mostly Ephraim and Manasseh. By 1650 in Louisiana, the it says the enslavement of Americans was quite common from the very beginning of the colony, with the Chictamaca people, those Gadites, being a special target, but also with slaves being brought in from the Mississippi Valley. In the early 1700s, the French there are known to have been interest in changing American slaves, the Gadite slaves, and the rest of the Northern Kingdom for Africans, for the Southern Kingdom, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, so-called Negroes, West Indians, and so-called Haitians from Haiti and other colonies. All right, so that's how some of those Levites got down there in Louisiana, also Mississippi, man. All right, it says some were actually, because we got a guy in our camp we call Pops, man. Pops is a Benjamite. All right. All right. So it says some were actually traded for supplies in and that's a promise in Joel chapter 3, man. In the late 1720s, many Natchez people were sent as slaves to Haiti. All right. So there you go again, man. All right. Let me see. Let me get this part right here. It says, it said after the Pequot English War in New England, many American prisoners, these are Gadites, were enslaved and sold. In 1638, Pequots were sold in the West Indies, and many reaching Providence Island off Central America. Between 1676 and 1783, many other New England Native Americans were condemned to be sold to foreign slavery after the so-called King Philip. And another thing I'm gonna tell you, man, these were also the Gadites was Negro looking, man. All right, some was already looking like that, and some had mixed in with Judah, man. All right. It says it said thus during the war and for some time after, Indians believed to be hostile or dangerous was shipped away to the slave markets of West Indies, Spain, and the Mediterranean coast. Wow. It said both Jamaica and Barbados legislated against their admittance. John Elliott knew of this case, which a vessel filled with Indian prisoners tried. Cause really, that's where we are, man. We're prisoners. We're not slaves. Slave go the Slavic, man. We're prisoners of war. In vain to unload its human cargo at one mark after another, she finally managed to get rid of them at the Tangers in North Africa. This is Morocco, man, where they are still living in 1683. Probably many a black man today in North Ireland, islands of West Indies, carry some traces of blood which once surged through the veins of Philip's medicaments defeated warriors. All right, so there you go, man. All right, so it's proved that the 12 chart is correct, man, and that the indigenous people of America are the Israelites, man. All right. I'm trying to this. All right. It says as the English became more involved in the African slave trade. All right, they're not African. They're the Southern Kingdom. They also became more ruthless in terms seizing Americans, the Gadites. All right. Nordic. It said in 1663, William Hilton kidnapped several Americans from South Carolina. A lot of you so-called niggas from South Carolina, carried them to Barbados, where two of them, Shadu and Womane, was seen in 1666. From 1670 on, the English of South Carolina engaged regularly in the American slave trade, sending natives in the tens of thousands to the West Indies and other markets. In 1674, a group was sent to Jamaica. In 1693, a Cherokee delegation at Charleston requested the return of their relatives who had been taken to Jamaica without apparent success. There you go. No man should buy you, man. Nobody should save you, right? So you like, people, man, the Cherokee, they had us in slavery, all that. They had all us in slavery, man. The Cherokee, Choctaw, so-called, the Seminoles, all right? They was victims of slavery too, man. All right? Okay? You had Judah had Judah in slavery, man. All right? Those part of the curses, all right? And there's someone that got tricked by Esau, sold them a slave, just like Esau sold Jake was selling Jake, and some of Jake was selling Jake, Judah was selling Judah, Southern Kingdom selling Southern Kingdom in West Africa to slavery. They warm each other. And Esau got a hold of their ass and put them in slavery. All right, excuse my French. All right. Request return their relatives have been detained Jamaica without apparent success. Most of the slaves were from Florida, all right, Reuben, or Mississippi area, Choctaws, for example, and they were a major source of income to the English. All right, so to prove that the so-called Native Americans are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, man. All right, get this page. And then Esau didn't give a damn about what color you were. All right, when you a light skinned Gadite or a dark skinned Gadite, he didn't give a damn, man. You was an Israelite, your ass was going, man. All right, Esau declare all war on the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, this is page 191. This book. says right here, I'm gonna start right here. Get this clear. It said Johnson also noted that many Indians was enslaved along the eastern seaboard. The end of Indian slavery came in the final absorption of the blood of the Indian by more numerous Negro slaves. All right, so that's why you got a lot of Gadites and Reubites among Judah, man. All right, okay, they mixed in them among them. All right, it said, but the blood of the Indian did not become extinct in slave states, for it continued to flow in the veins of the Negro. In an article published in the Journal of Negro History, Johnston remarked where the Negro was brought into contact with the American Indian, the blood of the two races intermingled. The Indian has not disappeared from the land, but is now part of the Negro population of the United States. All right, so you got Gad, Reuben, all right, and you also got small amount of the other tribes among Judah, so-called Negroes, man. All right, so history didn't happen as you think, man, and that's what Jake's problem is, especially those that claiming to be Israelites. All right, because you like to come against the 12 tribe chart and like to say the so-called Native Americans are Israelites. Well, actually, you're talking about yourselves, man. You're talking about yourselves. All right, and you're running away, man. You're running away from your heritage. And then you talking about the so-called Native American got they reparations. So 5 tribes out of 570 and more tribes got a little purse bag. And let me tell you something, man. 56 million, all that. That's nothing, man. That's 56. That's 56 cents, man, to how much they owe the Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans for their atrocities against us, man. All right. Now this is the documentary Paper Genocide was happened to the so-called Native American, the tribe of Gad. All right, and also happened to the other tribes throughout the Americas. This is one instant where this guy, he was purposely erasing basically changing the status of so-called Native Americans while tribe of Gad, and purposely marking them down as Negroes, man. All right, so that's why you got a lot of these scoffers who think they are Judah, so-called Negro. They actually Gadites, so-called Native Americans, and Reubenites, so-called Seminole Indians, and the others, man. All right, but majority is Gad and Reuben. So you got a lot of rebellious Gad and Reuben coming against themselves, man, when they talk about the 12 tribe chart and they coming against Yahweh Shai. All right, so this is Paper Genocide, the historical suppression of the Native American Indian heritage on government record. All right, so this website, Paper Genocide. All right, so we'll let this play. All right. And another thing, you got Gad among the so-called Mexicans, man. All right. All right. You are the seed of your father, numbers 1:1 and number 1:18. All right. So you got Gad among Judah, Benjamin, Levi, and among Issachar, so-called Mexicans. All right. You see, Jake get mad. What they doing? The dude, dummy, they talking. That's your reparation. Even though he ain't gonna give us to it, the devil ain't gonna give it to us, man. But this is a good topic to get into, man. Why is he saying that? Because they know this. They know the history that's not known in mainstream education. All right. this clear.
Although outright warfare against Virginia's Indians had ended, a different threat emerged in the early years of the 20th century. The Racial Integrity Act, championed by state lawmakers and officials like Walter Plecker, challenged their very identity as a people. The Plecker era was truly one of the darkest times for Native people in Virginia. But I think it's critical for us to think about what was the genesis of the ideology that Plecker was a proponent of. And it's really the eugenics movement. The eugenics movement was a pseudo-scientific movement. We say pseudo-scientific today because we find that the science that they were proposing is not what we today would honor as scientific in any way. The eugenics movement has a direct link to the descendants of Charles Darwin. They somehow made the leap to these notions about racial purity. What is best for each race is racial purity. Plecker and his friends convinced the Virginia legislature to adopt very restrictive legislation in 1924. It's called the Racial Integrity Act. With this legislation, it was decreed that there were only two possible categories. One is white, which means a person you check that you're white if you have white ancestry, Caucasian ancestry, and absolutely nothing else. The other category is everybody else, and that's colored. So this was very hard on Virginia's indigenous community because in a sense it wipes away their identity on paper. Their ability to describe themselves as Indian was not possible in the state of Virginia until 1968, when the U.S. Supreme Court forced Virginia to repeal the law.
All right, so this it. So I hope it was edifying. All right, the 12 shots chart is 100% correct. Esau's going down in his queendom. Uh, America and his other colonies are going down with him. And the 12 tribes of Israel, so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, will be put in a rightful place and will rule supreme with Yahweh Shai. Shalom.